Welcome back to another episode of the Casey Campbell podcast. Casey Campbell with you, of course. Pleased to be joined by Brian Canfield, the boys basketball coach at Bloomfield Hills. Brian, welcome back to the show. Thanks for taking the time as always.
For sure. Thanks, Casey. Thanks for having me. And it's always a pleasure to talk to you. And we appreciate the coverage that you give our guys and give our team.
Yeah. Okay. So a little bit of a change, with a lot of changes so far this season. So going into this, I know that, we were just talking before, it's going to be a big challenge for you guys because you graduated your entire starting lineup, and this is going to be a big learning year for this team and everybody else.
Yeah, for sure. It is an exciting time for us and a very interesting time because there's kind of an unknown out there about where the path that our team takes and what players are going to step up for us and lead the way, both with just leadership or statistically and on court performance. So it's an exciting time for us. The best thing about it is that we play in a really tough conference. We play in a really tough league, and we're going to have to really respond because we're going to be challenged every single night. And we have a new group of students and student athletes who, that are on our team this year, and guys that have not had a lot of varsity time. And so that will be an interesting thing for us to really help these guys mold who haven't had varsity minutes, haven't had a lot of varsity experience, and to help them grow throughout the season. So we're excited about that. So it's a kind of a cool place to be.
Okay, so let's talk about a lot of those guys that are some of the names to watch out for your team this year.
For sure. We do have a handful of kids that have done a really nice job this year for us. They did a really nice job in the summer, and so far they're off to a good start. And so some of the players to keep an eye out for, one of them is Blake Nagy. He's a senior wing, and he's our only player from last year that got any amount of varsity time. So he came in off the bench and was in the rotation, and just a really tough kid, like my type of player to coach. He's a really tough kid. He rebounds hard. He defends hard. He always plays hard. He's really scrappy and has skill to go with that. So, is comfortable putting the ball on the floor, scoring the ball inside, or shooting the perimeter shot. He has a little bit of size to him. He's about 6'3", so he can do a lot of in-between things in the game. And we also look for him to be one of our leaders on the team. So we're excited to have him lead the way. We expect great things from him. And then Deron Mason is a sophomore. He was a fifth quarter kid for us last year, and phenomenal talent. He plays some high-level AAU basketball. He spends all of his time outside of the season playing basketball, and he's 6'3", kind of a long, athletic wing. Does a really nice job getting to the basket, finishes high and strong at the rim, can put the ball on the floor, can shoot the three-point shot. Really has, unlimited potential defensively. And so he's a sophomore, and he's going to be a key to our team as a sophomore, and can't wait to see what the next 3 years bring for this kid. And then just a couple other players that would mention that we feel like we're going to play big roles for us is Phil Muhammad is off of our JV team last year. Love the way this kid defends and gets after it, and has some ability to really play solid point guard position as far as he's vocal. He handles the ball well. He's got great quickness. He can score the ball off the bounce. So he'll have some opportunities, and we look for him to contribute. And Reggie Hinton is another kid off our JV team who's a guard who phenomenal character in this kid and does everything that a coach could ask. Love coaching that type of kid too, and has some skill to defend and get by people and finish at the rim. He's only about, 5'8", maybe 5'9", and goes up and dunks the ball with ease. And then we have Deani Edwards, who's a senior, who will play for us, and mostly inside. He's a bigger body, and he can bang inside and punish some guys around the basket, but can also step out and shoot the perimeter shot. So all these guys, we're excited. We have a lot of work to do with these guys, but we look at the potential they could bring.
Yeah. Okay, so let's talk about the OAA for a minute with the white division, and of course it's any division in the OAA is going to be really really tough. So what's that going to be like heading into this in terms of the conference? What do you what's kind of your outlook on the year? Because there's going to be some good matchups, but you never know what you're going to get when you play these teams.
Yeah, people ask me that question all the time, and I don't know if I consider myself a smart dude, but I know enough to know that I've been wrong with this before 100 times, and sometimes I thought, we're looking good, and sometimes I thought some other teams were looking good, and sometimes things change. So, what I can say is that the conference is a really good conference, and a lot of teams are returning a lot of players. So, our challenge with whoever we play that night is going to be kind of experience versus non-varsity experience. And as the season goes on, our goal as coaches is to kind of expedite the growth of our young guys and the guys on the varsity team, and try to put us back in the driver's seat with having some experience. So as the season goes on, we'll definitely grow and develop as a team. And look, here's the deal. We know that we've lost our guys from last year and don't have returners coming back like every other team in the OA white. But here's the deal is we feel like our guys can play. And we know that teams are looking down at us and maybe not picking us to be the favorite in the conference. But we're a dangerous team, and we could beat anybody on any night. And so that's the kind of the excitement and the cool thing about this season.
And that's what excites everyone about high school basketball, because you never know what's going to happen. Let's talk about now. We talked about the conference. Let's talk about your non-conference slate. As always, some really, really good teams, and kind of starting out on the road, because you got some teams that you're going to play in the Lakes Valley Conference. You're going to a KLAA site, not part of that KLAA OAA. Not every OAA team is part of that KLAA OAA crossover, but you guys are going to be heading to Novi, Walled Lake Central, South Lyon, Farmington. I think Farmington is where is.
So they're in our conference. Actually, they jumped in our conference last year.
That's right. You'll be heading there, and then
yeah.
Cool.
So those two games are important games for us, opening up the season early in the season, going to play some teams that we normally don't play. We have played Novi in the past before. Coach Karajan, who was a coach here before me, he established the relationship with Novi, and we're continuing that. So we're playing them this year, but Walled Lake Central and then, like you said, South Lyon, and two other key non-league games for us that we're really excited about. One is go down to Cass Tech, the Holiday Classic, and play Detroit Central there. And so we played Pershing there last year, and then we play at the end of the year, last game of the season, and we wrap up at Clarkston. And so I really like our non-league schedule. It gives us a balance of playing different teams from different conferences and different locations, and just giving our kids, we talk about that experience thing, giving our kids another experience that would just helps them with their growth and see different teams in different places.
Yeah. Okay. So now it's, going into this year, and obviously, a lot of big changes, with new teams coming in, obviously the OAA with all the new divisions, but there's obviously one change that's going to affect every single team here in the state, and here actually across the country. With the new with the one-on-one foul rule gone, it's been interesting to hear what a lot of coaches have to say about this, both on the men's, on the boys side and on the girls side. But what's your take on that?
Yeah, that's how much time do we have? That's a good question. So here's the short overview of it. One is that the rule's fine with me. I'm good with having the rule. I think in a lot of ways it actually helps us we play man-to-man defense, and we really work to get after it on defense and pressure the ball and get in passing lanes and disrupt offense. And so the thing the reason that helps us is it does allow us more fouls, and does allow, because we do foul, and don't want our kids to get in foul trouble, and don't really like sending teams on the foul line. But I know that the style that we play defense, we're going to foul, and that's something that we will live with, that we've always lived with, and we're good with that when we foul. So as long as we're not putting people on the line early or getting key players in foul trouble, those are two things we want to stay away from. But it gives us a chance to get after people and maybe give a couple more fouls. It also gives us an opportunity. If we foul too much in a quarter, you don't get punished for it for the half, and you get a chance to reset it in the next quarter and start all over again. And so, it's part of the other things that coaches are going to have to think about is how it changes their strategy, as far as things like got to be more selective of who you foul at the end of a game, because now they get 2 shots if you're trying to cover some ground. And teams are going to have some fouls to give at the end of the quarters. We like to, if we have the ball, we like to play for the last shot. And we'll have to see if teams decide to foul us in the last shot, if they have fouls to give, and we may foul some teams at the end of the quarter too, if we have fouls to give. So there's going to be definitely some new strategy to it. It definitely puts teams who are playing catch up in the end of the fourth quarter, and you're playing that foul game and that catch up game, a little bit harder, a little bit bigger obstacle to overcome. If you guys are shooting 2 shots instead of the 1-on-1, puts a little less pressure on the shooter. You don't have to make that first one. You got another one coming on the second shot. So those are some of the changes that we've talked about as a staff.
Yeah. So and then of course, obviously the team was set last week of with tryouts last week. Obviously the girls teams are kind of flip-flop from last year a little bit, because this is, I believe last year this was the week that you had to do your tryouts. But what are the next few weeks going to be like heading into that first game?
Yeah, so the early start has been good for us. The other thing that we've done with the schedule with the early start is, knowing we've had a younger team as far as experience, we've tried to actually push some games back and not start. I have our first game open as early, so we don't play till December 1st, and we have some time right now, a couple weeks to try to get things going here and get some momentum. So some of the things that we're really building right now is we're looking at building our identity here, and really as a team, because we have new kids we're bringing together, and we don't have a big portion, like you said, big portion of the team that's had minutes and has been there to help bring other guys along the way. So we're doing that as a coaching staff, and then trying to build the capacity of the team to function on the court. And so we're really building our identity as a team. And then obviously we're building our system. So the teaching is really slow right now, and it's taking time. And so I always feel like that first game, no matter what, we're never really ready for the first game, and we don't have all of our stuff in, but we know that'll be the case, and we'll build as the season goes. So right now, what we're really looking to do is we're really looking to have our identity, play hard, play tough, and really get after and compete. And then our staple on defense, we're really working on spending a lot of time stressing our defense, individual defense, and our team defensive unit. And that's the first step that we're going in. And then the second step is offensive execution, whether we're in transition or we're in a press break or in our half court sets. We're really trying to teach slow and be exact, and really just be surgical on how we operate on offense.
Yeah. All right. Well, Brian Canfield, always a pleasure talking with you, and congrats on all your successes last year, and best of luck to the Blackhawks this coming season.
Thank you, Casey. Appreciate you having me, and I hope we continue to cross paths this season.